Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, a weekly gathering of coaches that help one presenter with a 3-minute pitch. Our coaches include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco. His specialty is on high-stakes presentations. We have Scotty Spursum, also from San Francisco, with a focus on language and also accent reduction. Normally we have Michael Marchak with us. He can't make it today, but Massimo Peroncelli, hailing from Thailand, a serial entrepreneur, and Rick Pollack, a presentation coach and trainer hailing from Boston, Massachusetts. And then we have a few guests here, repeating guests who have been at Pitch in the Zone, who will help us as well in our coach's duty. And then, of course, the star of the show today is Lance Newhart. Lance Newhart is the founder and the CEO of GlobalM, a truly revolutionary solution for the broadcast industry. Lance, welcome to Pitch in the Zone.
Thank you very much, Claudio. Good to be with you all today, this evening, this morning, this afternoon.
Real pleasure. You're hailing from Switzerland. And before we start, can you tell us very briefly what the intended audience is for your pitch?
So the intended audience for this pitch is really people working in media, people, and that could be any type of media, TV, radio, newspaper, magazine, web, but also sports federations, hybrid events organizers, and anyone that's doing remote production, really, that could really benefit from the technology.
Awesome. Excellent. And do you have slides that you want to share with us?
I do. Yes, I do.
All right. Please feel free, start to set them up. And once you are ready, Lance, the virtual floor is yours. And there we go. Whenever you're ready, take a deep breath and your 3 minutes are counting.
Hi, I'm Lance Newhart, co-founder and CEO of GlobalM. We specialize in professional live streaming technologies for sports, news, and hybrid events. And I'm so excited to share with you what we're doing with smartphones. Imagine racing 240 kilometers on your bicycle with 8,000 meters of climbing over the Swiss Alps. It took the winner almost 10 hours to cross the finish line. GlobalM provided the live coverage during the whole race with our smartphone technology and network, even replacing helicopters with drones. Media outlets need to be first with more live coverage and content, but without the typical heavy equipment, costly satellite and SIM bonding packs. We turn this into this without any loss of quality. This international news channel just recently began a 1-year contract with GlobalM, and they're using smartphones such as this one over 4G, 5G, and Wi-Fi. When the European Film Academy learned that Antonio Banderas could not travel to Berlin for the award ceremony, they called GlobalM. Antonio won European Actor and gave his acceptance speech live from Spain in broadcast quality. This past December, we were back in Berlin, and with the COVID pandemic, it was a hybrid ceremony with 40 nominees from all over Europe, each one live using GlobalM. We've developed an intelligent, software-defined video network with distributed architecture for streaming over the internet with the highest quality and the lowest latency. We provide all the benefits of satellite distribution, but at less than half the cost. Our edge servers in these data centers connect live streams with the shortest possible routes through the internet. We can scale these streams up to thousands of takers, replacing satellite distribution. We're focused on the delivery of content for sports contribution and also distribution, special events services and hybrid remote productions, and live video exchanges for media to share their own coverage internally, but also their content with their media partners. We have a B2B business model, which includes both pay-per-use and per-event options and subscription options for all types of media organizations, sports federations, and host broadcasters, all who need cost-effective delivery of content. Paul Kaleja is our CTO. He and myself worked at Eurovision for many years on news and sports events around the world. And that is where we met Pierre Sebon, our head of global sales. As you can see, we have a very select group of experts as our advisors and mentors. Now is the best time to rethink media. News and sports organizations can get an edge on their competition with more content, global coverage in real time. Thank you.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Now for the group here, I just want to mention that Nathan and we have heard this pitch a few times over the last couple of weeks as we worked with Lance on improving it. So we will stay back and perhaps at the very end then fill in a couple more comments. But the one thing I want to mention is you are always such a pleasure to listen to because you are so articulate. It is really, really like music on my ears. And speaking of music and the music of language, I want to start today with Scotty. Scotty, what kind of observations have you made? How can you help Lance? And please do not feel rushed. We are a fairly small group today, so go broad, go deep.
Okay. Yeah, really great product you have, and obviously you have clients currently. Just in terms of the story, I didn't hear if you're pitching to sports news and hybrid events. I didn't hear a call to action for them to come talk to you. Or like, what do you want me to do if I'm running one of those? Pardon me, one of those groups. And also, I don't know if there was anything more current than 2019. I think you did do something that was more current than 2019 this last winter, right?
Sure. Well, we did 2019, which was Antonio Banderas, and then we went back, and then instead of 2, we had 40 live streams. That was during COVID in December 2020. That's just the European film. That's just the European Film Awards.
It's the European Film. I didn't know if there was anything else that might be interesting, pardon my voice, to showcase something else as well.
Sure.
And in terms of your voice, you do have a lovely voice and demeanor, but you're so much more conversational now, and even before it started, it felt a little bit, I don't know if robotic's the right word, but it just felt a little bit choppy to me. And okay. I didn't catch I didn't catch you. You almost sounded like you were broadcasting it, and without as much play in the language as I think you're capable of, and that. As Claudia would say, the vocal variety is what really makes the language sing. And with that, I didn't hear great variety. It was almost all in the same bandwidth. Gotcha. And I think you can change that, because in this medium, we really only have our voices and this little bit of my body that you can see to try to recreate a one-to-one feeling. And I think you can play with that a little bit more and enhance it.
Okay, great. Good feedback. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Scotty. Moving on to Rick. Rick Pollack, what observations have you made? And again, take your time. We have plenty of it today.
Great. Okay. Lance, I really liked your delivery. You were, I like the slides and the organization. And when you held up the cell phone with the microphone on it, I thought your delivery was fine. And also, I understood the concept very well. I also like when you had the picture of the big satellite truck and the big cameras, and it was very clear. You replace all of this old, heavy, expensive technology with this. So I thought it was very clear to it. And you also said no loss of quality, low latency network, high quality, half the cost. So the value proposition was there. What I didn't see was how. And my background, you can see the speakers and stuff. I mean, I'm an audio engineer. I worked for years with broadcasters and in communications technology. And for a couple of years, I worked with microwave and video and electronic news gathering with all the things that you used to show in that. And I know a chief engineer of a TV station or that, first thing they're going to say is, when you say no loss of quality, they're going to say, no, you can't do that. They've got their huge, $70,000 HD cameras and their high bandwidth dedicated microwave networks and microwave dishes, and they're going to say you can't possibly get the same quality with a cell phone with a built-in camera. So I think you really have to spend some time in that pitch. And you had that network diagram and you show the low latency and distributed network, that's fine. But I'd spend some more time talking about how you can get a high quality picture from a cell phone. I mean, you held it up and I saw a little microphone. I didn't see an external lens, or even if you had a little, when I see an external lens, a $30 clip-on lens on an iPhone really is not the same quality. So I really would be interested, and I think you really need to talk to the people. They will go with this. It's great. You have a drone instead of a helicopter. The concept is great, but I think you really have to prove how you can do the high quality broadcast quality video and audio with the cell phone equipment. So that would be something that, if you can get that why in there and get some kind of proof in there, and I know you can't really do it in 30 seconds to a minute, you want to get the concept
That's my
across.
question.
Yeah,
you
can't do that, but maybe there's something that you can, whether it's a testimonial from someone who said, hey, when I first saw GlobalM, I was skeptical. I didn't possibly think I could get that same quality from a cell phone, but I put them side by side and I couldn't tell the difference. And that's 15, 20 seconds in the pitch, and then they can follow up later. But I think that has to be there to get rid of the skeptics who've invested millions of dollars in this equipment, and someone tells them, oh, you waste, essentially, I mean, you're not telling them you wasted the money, but that's how it comes across, that you don't need all that expensive equipment that they lobbied to get.
Sure, no, it's a very good point. And there's one sentence trying to cut it down to 3 that I took out, which is normally with this slide, and it says, our one-of-a-kind cell phone technology software provides broadcast accurate video hardware encoding from your smartphone. Yeah.
And I think you have to say that, but you have to have the proof behind it after that 3-minute pitch. What's so great about the codec you're using that takes the regular cell phone and makes it look like a $70,000 HD camera? How is it going to be comparable?
It's actually a very good question, and that's generally among the first or second question we get after the pitch.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think, obviously you don't have to put the full answer in there, but you've got to get something in the pitch because they're going to be asking that question. They've asked you that question before, and you've got to have at least something. I've got the data here that says, this is how we do it, and I can show you the difference there. But at least get that in there so they don't think this is, oh yeah, this is he's just making this stuff up. He says it's the same quality, and it's not. Good but point. I think it's a great concept. I understood exactly what it was, and from your from the people there would say, oh yeah, that's great. We don't have to rent the helicopter. We don't need that huge truck anymore. And it's just really making sure you've got that proof, and it's great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick. And I would like to just make a very, very brief comment to this. Actually, two comments. One is that it's a 3-minute pitch to open doors. So in that case, I actually like the fact that there might be some questions lingering out there that they really want to have answered, because that's what gets them to approach the presenter afterwards and go like, hey, Lance, this is really, really fascinating, but how exactly are you doing it? So I think the how, it's an important piece, but it can come up in the Q&A, it can come up in the next round. Mm-hmm. The other point I wanted to make is that today, I'm not sure whether it was Zoom, but when you showed the Antonio story, the Antonio video, today I saw some lags. I saw some, it was like lagging a little bit. And I think if the video would play the way that I've seen it before, that's pretty much the proof in the pudding that yes, this thing actually is broadcast quality. So sometimes Zoom is maybe just not the most ideal platform to demonstrate something like broadcast quality, because Zoom downgrades and makes the quality so much worse. So that's my 2 cents here. Moving on, how about Massimo? Massimo, what kind of observations have you made, and how can Lance improve what he has so far?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I would say, at least in my opinion, this has been, I think, one of the most professional looking pitch we ever had here, both from your, let's say, vocal performance to slide and content and everything. I want to thank you, Claudio, for having introduced my main point of improvement. I would say, to me, it's of the utmost importance to tell the audience that what you're seeing is not what you're doing, because as Claudio said, it was lagging in more than one point. It was Antonio Bandera and also in other videos before. So if people say, what is talking about video quality is like dropping frames here and there. So just spend 5 seconds saying, of course, due to this media, Zoom or whatever, we cannot guarantee the same result, but we send you the CD or the link with the full version video, just to be sure, because you're telling me it's great, and then I see a choppy video, I say, what's going on? And apart from that, just a very, very small minor things, because I couldn't find anything else. In one of the very first slides, when you have the video of the cycling through the Alps, I think the one before, on the video on the right, there is 1 or 2 like black line for 3 seconds, the video on the top, so it doesn't look too professional.
You're right.
Just it. Okay.
You're right.
But it was
try to clean that up.
okay. But it was a great pitch. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Awesome. The attention to detail by Massimo is just unmatched. You don't miss anything like that. Beautiful, beautiful. Jess, you've been in Lance's shoes before. You've been sitting in the pitch zone. What kind of feedback do you have for Lance to improve?
Sure. I don't have a ton of feedback, Lance. I think you did a phenomenal job. The visuals were great. Your voice was good. I agree with Scotty. There could be a little bit more variety in your pace because it was like consistently the same throughout. I would also take a close look at all of your slides and just make sure that the audience is the same for everyone, because I felt like at the end, there were a couple of slides and points that you made that were more focused on an investor audience. So just make sure that, you have that call to action and the other points that you are pursuing clients and not investment. And then I thought, an easy way you could show that the product works well is you could include a testimonial from one of your clients, perhaps. You have a really impressive list of clients, but you kind of went through that quickly. So I was trying to read all the different clients and then we were on to the next. So you might want to consider just giving us a little more time to absorb how successful you've already been. I think that speaks volumes for the technology as well. But otherwise, great job.
Thank you. Good feedback. Yeah, some of the clients are paying clients and some are still doing pilots. And then there's others in the pipeline who want to start. So, but yeah, we actually had a testimonial this morning from Finnish television that used it for a COVID-19 presser and at the Prime Minister's office. And they said it worked great.
Wow, that's really cool.
Superb, superb. Thank you very much, Jess, for this feedback. And Scott, you've been here last week. And what kind of feedback do you have for Lance?
It was a great presentation, Lance. And one thing I really liked about it was how understandable for someone that's not as technical as far as the audio and and the transmission. So it was so understandable how the transition, and it really matched the slides. I did agree with Scotty that, you know, that in terms of voice, but and also how it seemed like you really wanted to get the information out there, which of course you have so much information to try to put into the 3 minutes. But it just seemed a little rushed, even at the last a little bit. But it was a great presentation.
Good feedback.
Take it home, Nathan. You have another 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes easily.
All right. All right. So thanks so much, Lance, for giving us a performance like we've just seen. And I have a list of things to go over here with you. First of all, I'm so glad to see that you're using a way of delivering the solution and the problem, which is completely opposite than what 98% of the other startups do. Here's my problem, here's my solution. And I've always had a big problem with that because I don't know how to tie the problem back to what you do yet, which what you did here beautifully is gave 2 examples of what you do. And then you talked about the problem, which is the way I totally love to see these kinds of presentations. You spend 39 seconds on what you do to start with, and then literally 16 seconds on the problem. And that's just a wonderful balance where most people would spend 39 seconds on the problem and, you know, they reverse that whole thing. So well done there. In terms of the comments you're getting from people with the vocal variety and stuff like that, if you go back and watch this video and listen to yourself in Q&A, in the responses you're giving to what people are saying to you, I think that's the voice everybody wants to hear. I mean, that's the voice I love to hear when you're speaking because it's so authentic, it's so natural. You're breathing better and your body is still doing everything it's doing and your face is still doing everything you're doing during the pitch. But like all of us, we feel like, okay, ready, set, go. Now I got to be a little bit different when I present because it's more formal, but it's just somewhere between what you did here today, which was almost, sorry to say this, almost too perfect. Adding the vocal variety and that more conversational tone will make it an A++. I don't believe in perfection, but today was an A+. You want to make it an A++? Use that tone, that delivery, that natural, beautiful, wonderful human being that Lance is, that you show us during Q&A. That's, I think that's it. So breathing more, I think breathe more so that you have the opportunity to have that vocal variety, I think is all you need to do. The slide where you have 730 million, you have 730 twice, is that correct?
That is correct. That is
Okay.
that is correct. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
looked
it is
like a
correct.
mistake. It's just too, can you make one 700 for, it just looks like a mistake to me, but it's a minor nit.
It's yeah. It's
moving
a yeah.
Yep, moving on. When you say many years at Eurovision, could you tell me how many? I'm just curious.
26 years at Eurovision and 32 in media.
So could you stop saying many? Many sounds like you're hiding 3 years.
Okay.
And say 26 years or 2.5 decades, you know, that builds up that credibility so much more than we've spent many years. Many years is fluffy.
Well, Paul and I worked there for 12 years together, but I was there a lot longer.
Didn't say that.
But
so after being there for 12 years, I ran into my Paul, or whatever it is, 15 years after Eurovision, I ran into the greatest CTO in the world named Paul, and now we're together. I mean, no, you know, don't add a lot of language around it, but I feel like you need to definitely change many years. Okay. Still good on time. Okay. Let's see.
Good point.
The videos that, by the way, just for everybody on the line here, the videos that Lance will be using in the final demo next week are going to be put in post-production. So there will be no lags, there will be high def, but Lance, they do make a really good point about when you're online, you have no control over the receiving end. And you might want to let people know that, hey, look, if you were seeing this live, and I'll send you a link to it right now on YouTube that you can watch, if there's any hiccups in the transmission, it really is the Zoom issue, you know, could be a Zoom issue.
Sure.
Type of thing. Just to warn people, because I feel the same that as soon as everybody started mentioning the the hiccups, and I saw the hiccups here too.
You saw
in
it
my
too in
stream.
California. Okay.
And I have a 1 gigabyte line coming into the house now, so it's as fast as, you know, whatever. But the
Yeah.
one thing that did show up high def was the actual visual. So while it, you know, there was a bit of lag, the visuals were high def. So,
Hmm.
but I get why people were bringing that up. And I love one more thing about you that I've never said, which is you're one of the best listeners on the planet. And whenever I see you
Hmm.
getting feedback from people like all of us or anybody through the Boomtown in the last 12 weeks, you just listen so carefully. And I so appreciate that because it indicates that you're one of the most coachable people on the planet. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you to all of you for sharing the valuable feedback, because that's the way I can try to take it to the next level. And some of the points have actually come up in the past, like the changing the vocal, you know, variation.
Mhm.
And it's something I need to remember because I did work in radio and I did work in television and
That's all right.
sometimes dabble in amateur theater, but
That's
I don't
what it
have time
takes.
much for that now.
Well, it's amateur theater, what you're, this is theater, what you're in right now, right?
Hmm.
All right, back to you, Claudio, for the last 60 seconds.
Well, thank you very much. And Lance already answered the question that I wanted to ask him, you know, how was this valuable to you? And if you want to elaborate even more, please.
No,
feel free.
Sure. No, very valuable feedback from all of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, especially about the vocals and about the choppy video, to maybe put a little precursor out there, or, you know, afterwards, or just saying, I hope, you know, it wasn't choppy video, or some way to just, you know, say we are on Zoom instead of transmitting live with GlobalM.
There you go. That's right. This transmission is not coming to you by GlobalM.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you very much for delighting us with your pitch here today, Lance. And thanks all of the coaches on the call here today. You are simply marvelous. I so appreciate the time that you're taking every single week to help presenters like Lance to take a really, really good pitch, a great pitch, and make it, as Nathan said, an A++ pitch. So thank you all. And with that, we are getting to the end of today's session. I wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.